Hi, good evening, all. Um, Thanks to all of you for taking your time out and joining us for one more evening. Guys, I think it's going to be very, very special in more than one way, right? As you are all aware, those who have been joining us for the last 3, 4 weeks, and for those who have not joined, this is the first, it doesn't matter. We have been covering supply chain as an industry, right, over the last 3 to 4 webinars and Jobinars because we feel supply chain as an industry, manufacturing actually, right? Supply chain is an enabler for manufacturing. As an industry is at a inflection point from a Indian economy viewpoint, right? We are hearing so much around manufacturing and it is kind of very hot. A lot of governmental initiatives is kind of trying to push manufacturing. India is becoming a global manufacturing hub. A lot of supply chain is moving to India on account of the issues we faced in China post-COVID. So what all this means is that this is one sector which we are very, very confident that it is going to hog the limelight for a considerable period of time over the next decade or so. And that is how this whole journey started, right? And TCS iON, as you all know, we are very closely, we interact with the industry, we interact with the academicians, we interact with the colleges, and we always kind of try and bring out the best and the most relevant courses to help bright minds like you to make good of the opportunities that the industry throws at you. And so we knew supply chain was going to be hot, and then we started having discussions with IM Vizag, and we will talk about the course, and this is how the whole we are trying to help you all get into this industry, the most happening industry. So today what we will do is we have uh, two eminent speakers and panelists with us, right? And our idea through this evening is going to give all of you a flavor of um, how to make a career in supply chain. Of course, today both the speakers are from TCS, and I will also be sharing a lot of my experiences that I have gained, in my career in supply chain and F&A. Okay, so we will be talking very specifically about the opportunities that the outsourcing industry offers, and also whatever outsourcing industry offers, this is also applicable to the global shared service center. That is another hot topic, right? A lot of big companies are setting their shop in India. They are starting their shared services, right? So I think the stars are aligned. It's a very hot sector, a very happening industry, and what we want to do over the next 45 minutes to 1 hour is give you all a very um, real life flavor, right? How to make a good career and how to progress, because the speakers that we have today, all of them have made a big mark for themselves, in the area of supply chain. So let me first introduce you all to Srinivas Pagadala. So Srinivas, and guys, actually, um, we um, we always kind of our audience usually comprises a good mix of engineering, non-engineering background, right? So um, we have another coincidence is that uh, Srinivas Pagadala is from a non-tech background who has made it big in the supply chain industry, right? So Srini has over 22 years of experience in delivery and account management in the supply chain industry. He has expertise across various industries like life sciences, healthcare, energy and resources, travel, transportation, hospitality, banking, and manufacturing. With TCS, he's been with TCS for the last 8+ years, and he has done different roles as a customer leader and delivery head, and he has managed multiple large client accounts. He's a certified supply chain expert from Next Level Purchasing, and he's also a trained Six Sigma and Lean process methodologist. His global experience includes leading process transformation discussions and establishing new accounts, and not only establishing new accounts, but delivering steady state delivery, which is a very key aspect of the delivery process. And his areas of expertise include delivery management, P&L, and GM management, process transition to offshore, large team recruitment, process improvement transformation, contract management, procurement, strategic sourcing, supply chain management, and cost reduction. Why I'm detailing all these out is, guys, right? You know, you have very good expertise in supply chain, and these are the other skills that will come to you automatically as you go through this journey, right? Which we will hear from Srini, how he made that successful transition. So Srinivas has also successfully managed clients in various sectors, including travel, transportation, hospitality, oil and gas, and healthcare. Our second guest today is Abhi, right? So, in fact, all of us, we have worked together in our previous assignment. And what can I say about Abhi, right? I mean, I personally feel I've been so impressed with Abhi because Abhi actually works out of Houston, US, and he's acting as a consultant, right? He actually consults with a US oil major. He directly consults with their chief procurement officer, and he's undertaken a lot of transformational initiatives, right? So that's the level that you can reach, right? Working directly with the chief procurement officer of a big US giant speaks in itself around the opportunities that the industry offers, and you have to be open to take the chance. So Abhi is a seasoned supply chain consultant. He's, as I said, based out of Houston, Texas. He has 13 years of experience, and Abhi, interestingly, um, has an engineering and MBA background, right? So he holds an MBA in finance from Symbiosis International University, and he has a B in electronics and telecommunication from Nagpur University. Abhi has excelled in various facets of the supply chain, including sourcing and category management, logistics and distribution, demand and supply planning, inventory management, operational procurement, and master data management, along with analytics and reporting. Okay. Abhimanyu's functional expertise, it includes technology-led transformation, process optimization, and redesign. He has also led many supply chain initiatives in data analytics and business insights and global process transformation at a major oil and gas company, enhancing the supply chain efficiency and operational metrics. Abhi has led huge transformation efforts in streamlining and the order fulfillment cycle and redeploy available inventory, and which has resulted in saving in excess of more than $30 million. So welcome both Srini and Abhi. And I am Mohan. So, I've been with TCS for around 4 years. I have an overall 25 years experience where, again, I come from a non-engineering background. I'm a hardcore accountant. I'm a qualified accountant, and I'm also an MBA. So, um, and I have handled delivery transformation in big companies. So prior to TCS, I worked with companies like Genpact, Vertus, and IBM, where I've handled teams in excess of 1,000 FT. I think makes sense. Okay, so guys, let us start the evening. So my first question will be to Srinivas. So Srinivas, there are 2-3 questions. So I will just read out the questions and then over to you. First thing is, Srini, if you can just walk the audience through, your journey, right? Like, did you get into supply chain right at the start, or was it a conscious decision, or it happened as a stroke of, luck? And you can just share your experiences. The second question will be, Srini, since you are currently handling delivery in the supply chain domain in TCS. We would like you to tell our audience, right, what kind of roles are there in the BPO world. And then the final question. So there are 3 questions. The final question is, I know we hire a lot in the supply chain, right? So what is it that you look for in a candidate, right? Both soft skills and hard skills. So if you could just answer this, it will be wonderful, Srini. Over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Mohan. Thanks for the introduction. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Srinivas. I'll give you my career journey. See, I completed my graduation from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, See, after my graduation, I started my career into pharmaceutical industry. So in pharmaceutical industry, I worked into production department majorly, and during my free time, I used to work in warehouse department. So I managed both the departments there for a few years. Slowly, while looking into the production activities versus warehouse activities, right? Warehouse is a lot things are happening wherein they procure the goods, they talk to various suppliers, have the negotiations with them, get the cost down for the company, right? And then ensure that the material is available for the production team on time, right? So it's a kind of always more engaging department, I would say, which I have seen there. So then I had to make a choice when I wanted to move away from first company to second company, whether I need to stick to production department or warehouse department and learn the procurement and supply chain, concepts in the industry, right? So I chose in that a warehouse department, which I felt like it's more engaging and which they can keep me very busy, and then we can see good cost benefit that we can provide it to the company through various strategies that we can follow, right? Then I moved to my second company, that is again in pharmaceutical industry. So I spent a few years in some two different pharmaceutical companies, where I managed their warehouse department. And their procurement department as well, wherein talk to local vendors, get the quotations, have comparison of the quotes, and then get some cost benefit at the tactical level, right? And I enjoyed my work in that supply chain area while handling both procurement, warehouse teams, right? Then after a few years, then I moved to a distribution sector, wherein I joined a distribution company where I got an opportunity to learn the imports exports, where that company used to import goods from Singapore and other countries, and then do the customs clearance activity, and then distribute the goods across India, right? Where I've got another side of exposure of imports, exports, and logistics, and then order processing. All that activities have got good exposure there, right? It's a kind of learning new things when you move on from one company to another company, and when you progress in your career, right? Then I spent some time there. Then I started kind of my journey into the BPO industry. From the distribution company, I joined a company called Genpact. Most of the participants might be aware. So I joined there. There got an opportunity to get the exposure to the international procurement, where I worked as a strategic sourcing buyer, where we used to take our clients. My client was from US. I used to take the whole client spend, analyze the spend, and then see where the cost reduction opportunity in which category, right? And then do that analysis, have a discussion with client, and then agree with him or her, right, onto the strategy that I propose, and then start deploying that into the uh, process. So that is a very good exposure that I've got into the international procurement. I spent some time there. Then I moved to a different BPO company, where then I got an opportunity to travel, abroad, have a discussion with the client, and then convince them to outsource their business to our India delivery center, um, and establish a delivery activity from the right beginning, from knowledge transfer until the stability phase, right? That I've managed in the next company. Then third company, then I moved to another BPO company, where I have established two more accounts, that similar way that I have done in my earlier company. Then I moved to TCS, and in TCS from last 8.5 years, in my last 8.5 years span, so I have established three different accounts, all into different industry sectors. And right now I'm handling one client with some 300 plus FTEs, and all into procurement and supply chain domain. right? So you see my career, so where I was in dilemma between production and supply chain sector, where I chose supply chain sector, which suited my interest level and to my kind of personal characteristics, right? Where I grew on the go, or when I changed from one company to another company. So I got an opportunity to learn the things and then excel in those things, which made me to stand in this position right now, where now I can establish accounts and then run entire procurement and supply chain function from an offshore delivery center.
That's a
So that is, yeah.
that's a brilliant career journey, Sri. And I think all along, I think you've been open to learning. I think each role I can understand, right? Gave you, and
Right.
finally you are here. Impressive, impressive, brilliant, brilliant. Thanks. Shini, now around the outlook, like how does the sector look like, Shini, from a
Okay.
from an
Okay.
employment perspective? Yeah,
So employment perspective, if I focus on the BPO and outsourcing world, right? It will give ample opportunities for the associates, learn few areas of the supply chain. Then they will get exposure to learn, or the opportunity to learn all other areas, right? Like for example, you take any company, a procurement function, that company will have a tactical buy, strategic sourcing buy, and logistics department, inventory department, etc., right? When they outsource it to our outsourcing company or a BPO company, right, they will outsource the whole function to us, right? When
right,
it comes to us, then what happens if an associate learned, for example, an inventory management area, an associate learned, and he has got that skill, and he or she gets into a BPO industry, right? What happens is that over the period of time, along with inventory management, they will get an opportunity to learn procurement, sourcing, contract management, master data management, like this various areas, because all functions are outsourced to a BPO or outsourcing company, where associates will work together, sitting in one place and then managing that entire function, right? So there's a good exposure to learn the things here.
right,
So end-to-end roles that are available, and open doors for aspirants, right, who has got some uh, skill set into the supply chain management. And definitely any certification is a kind of added advantage that shows up in resume, that gives confidence to the recruiters. Okay, this person knows the basics of this, then we can groom this person
right.
to and take him or her to the next level, right? So that's how the outlook is, that it's very vast, and I mean, you'll have ample opportunities, and there is you come with one area of expertise, and definitely company will make you learn all other areas of supply chain.
Right. And my discussions with my network across, I think all companies are set for big time hiring. And participant, this is one very um a big coincidence that the industry is growing in India as well, and there is a simultaneous movement of lot of supply chain from the globe into India, right? So it's a double kind of it is an icing on the cake. So I think this is one sector that is probably at the sweetest spot as of now. Brilliant, Shini. Now quickly, the very if you can just share a few pointers around the kind of skills that you look for when you interview candidates.
Okay. So it varies between a person without experience and with experience. I believe that participants in this is basically is a kind of without experience and trying to learn supply chain.
Hmm.
So whenever I establish any account, right, I will have a mix and match of resources, where I need some young crowd, where I
Right,
need some experienced crowd, right? When I look for the young crowd, when I say young crowd without any experience or enthusiasm to learn the things, right? The few things that I keep it in my mind. One is that how uh, good that associate in speaking their
right,
English, right? Communication skills. It's not about the accent that you follow, whether you maintain US accent, Indian accents, etc. That doesn't matter nowadays. It all about how good you can express yourself so that your client can understand what you are trying to tell them, right? That is one thing that I look into it. And then two is that the enthusiasm in the associate, right, to learn new things or explore new things and then take more responsibilities, right? Because once you any associate ready to grow in their career, it's not only limited to one area that they know and then restrict themselves and then be in their comfort zone, right? Where the opportunities are there in this industry, when I hire somebody, then that person should be willing to learn new things, so that explore their career to the next level. That is the second thing that I look at it. And then third is that how um is there any kind of knowledge in that procurement and supply chain area that person has, right? So that I will assess during the interview. um, but if there is any associate who has done any certification that shows up in their resume, right, then that will give more confidence as a recruiter for me that okay, this person knows the basics, right? Now I can further groom that person in if I take him or her into my account, right? So these kind of skills that I look at it, Mohan.
Absolutely. Okay, so brilliant. Thanks, Srini. So before I go to Abhi, Rahul, if you can just pull up that slide, I will quickly walk the audience through at a very high level, right? The kind of roles that exist and a typical career path. And I will speak a little about IC and team. So Rahul, can you just pull up that skill side if you don't? You have that? Yeah. So, audience, this is just for your reference, right? So we will not go because we have a lot more to cover over the next 30 minutes. So just to give, like Srini also touched upon some of these areas, right? So category, um, procurement, logistics, distribution, sourcing. So there is supply chain actually is a very, very, very vast area, and under each you will have roles available, and we are talking specifically around the outsourcing and the shared service. And if you go to a main industry, like what I'm trying to say is, if you go to companies like Amazon, Flipkart, you will end up doing the front end roles also, and there will be brilliant learning. So these are some indicative roles that are available. Customer service. So, and guys, this is one industry, right? Like somebody may be very good in quantitative aptitude, somebody might be very good in communication, somebody might be a little bit here, a little bit there. So you have everything, right? Like if somebody from let's say a non-science, non-commerce background who has done, let's say, something around a course, but who has got very good communication skills, you can make a very good career as a customer service executive. Somebody who likes, to talk to people, who likes to, um, uh, you know, as we say, right, ki jugaad karna hai, right? Those kind of people can be excellent warehouse managers. They could be very good distribution folks, because you'll have to talk with multiple suppliers. There's a lot of on-the-spot decision making. So it's a very interesting kind of an industry which offers a lot of roles. And right, what we wanted to show, guys, is that um, again, this is one industry where you can grow either as a big people manager or as an individual contributor, right? Who's an individual contributor? There are people who are comfortable leading big teams. There are people who are very comfortable being on their own and doing a lot of um, things on their own, right? And this is one industry that gives an equal amount of extremely successful career paths for both these kind of people, right? If you take me, I have always relished handling teams, big teams. So, uh, you know, you can reach a stage where you will be ending up handling 2,000, 3,000 people, right? And then I also have seen some gifted, brilliant individuals, right, who are on their own, who can just transform a function, right? Who can just transform it into something unthinkable. Then you have a very, very well defined, equally successful career tracks for them also, where they can actually go to the top, right? Being an individual contributor, eventually, at some point of time, the team management will come, but it will be more around. These could be roles in analytics, these could be roles in transformation, these could be roles in innovation, stuff like that, right? So we just thought we will call this out. Okay, now my next question is to Abhi. Abhi, welcome. Abhi, I have a question for you because I personally, as I said, guys, I am very impressed with what Abhi has done and what he's doing for our client. So Abhi, will be great if you share with our audience, your journey in and before TCS as well, and again, I have the same question, right? Was it a conscious choice? You are an engineer MBA. Was it a conscious choice that you always wanted to make a career in supply chain? How did that happen? And yeah, just walk the audience through your journey. Abhi will appreciate that.
Sure, Mohan. I'll do that. And let me start by just thanking you for the brilliant introduction that you gave. I wouldn't have been able to give myself that that kind of an introduction. So thank you for that. Uh, I'm a grassroots level TCSer. So my first company that I joined was TCS. Prior to TCS, I think it was between 2005-9 is when I did my MBA, did my engineering, sorry. I did it in electronics and telecommunication as
Mhm.
at that point of time, India was having the whole 2G, 3G revolution. And the understanding was that that industry would be something that will really pick up. Unfortunately, we had the 2020, 2008 crisis, which kind of dropped the job market to a great extent. So I chose to kind of utilize the time and get myself an MBA. So I did that in finance as a major. Uh, After that, I was picked up by TCS from campus, and I was part of about 113 management trainees that were hired that particular year.
Mhm.
In that batch of 130, we had this leadership development program for which about 15 of us were selected. Now, the whole idea was in order to make the next mid management level at TCS, it's important that candidates who join get an exposure of various functions within TCS in order to understand how some of these support functions, which may not be core to our business, but still end up facilitating, enabling our operations, ensuring compliance, ensuring regulatory filings are done properly. So it was a good program that gave us a holistic experience of how TCS operates. So my first stint that I was given was with this function called operations enablement. As the name suggests, it was all functions that today help operations. So, be it technology solutions, be it partner ecosystem. So, TCS has a wide partner ecosystem where we can leverage specific skill sets and capability of a specific vendor and do good for our customers. Then we had transition, which Srini highlighted in some of his content, where he mentioned he has set up some of these transitions. So any new activity coming into TCS, ensuring you get a good idea of what work you're taking up, what metrics would you want to measure the performance of those processes,
Mhm.
so that from day one you're in a position to, if not exceed expectation, be in a position to measure your operations so that that roadmap can be drawn from, I was at 85% when I took over, and now I've taken the operations to say 95 or above.
Yes, I
So
can I can
that
vouch for this. Abhi is probably one of the most detailed oriented person I have seen. Like I have gone to calls where I was underprepared and Abhi was way prepared. So Abhi, I hear you.
thank you. Um, After my stint with Operation Enablement, the second stint that I was given was with transformation. Now, transformation as a function is part of our delivery excellence group. So, anything to do with quality of service, anything to do with process improvement, process transformation, was an exercise taken up by this department. When I joined the department, we were in this dilemma of having limited number of resources and immense amount of customer stakeholders that we wanted to interact with. So we worked on this framework called four, which was a process maturity framework that TCS built out. So we had various parameters. So how do you judge a particular process on people. So how talented are my people? How frequently are they getting trained? If a new person comes, do I have a framework to onboard them so that they are capable of doing the activities? The technology solutions on what is the level of manual activities that we do today? How much of that can be automated? Then we had the next one, which was on control. So do I have a process where there is a maker checker concept, or is it relying purely on one person's decision making? Then the last one, again, technology-driven parameters. So when we built this framework out, we actually made it into a simple 25-30 questionnaire with various levels that we had demarcated with all the experience that we had in TCS. So we had 500 plus accounts at that point of time. We went to every major account, understood what level they are at, and assigned them a score. That way, we had a scoring framework, and we could go to a customer, spend 1 hour with them on their processes, fill up that questionnaire, and give them a score against it. Now, scoring is great. You get to know your as is state, but the framework, the way it was built, because you had visibility into your next levels that you can aspire to, it became a transformation roadmap for them. They could know that if I impact technology, I can reach from a 2.5 score to a 3.5 score. If I work on my people aspect, be it from an outsourcing standpoint or building a training curriculum for them, would take my score from, say, a 2.8 to a 3.2. And that is the kind of roadmap that we were able to kind of build out. And this took like almost a year of our time. uh, After these two stints were over, I was kind of given an opportunity to choose the final one. And like pretty much every leader, mentor around mentioned that it is extremely important to be in operations. That's where you feel the pulse of your customer. That's where you feel how serious is the work that we actually take up for customers. So that is when I got exposed to supply chain and I joined supply chain delivery. Spent about 3 years there. Similar role to what Srini mentioned, setting up new accounts that came in, driving process improvement on existing accounts. We used to have this best practice and brainstorming sessions where we used to get all the leads from different accounts and just sharing stories about how they were able to kind of tackle a particular problem or a potential problem that others could look out for, is something that we used to manage in supply chain delivery. After spending 3 years there, I moved to supply chain pre-sales and solutions, which was there is a whole lot of customers that will float out RFPs, so a request for proposal. Can you take up my procurement operations? Can you take up my logistics coordination? So building out that solution with knowledge from our existing deliveries. So this is the typical productivity I can offer in this particular scope of work. These are the metrics that I would like to measure and present to the customer. So those entire activities was something I was taking up. Uh, After that, one of the large RFPs that I was actually working on kind of got converted. It was large, 680 odd resources across the globe, from delivery centers from China to Hungary to Montevideo. We had presence across the globe. And for that role, I moved to Houston. A little over 6.5 years. Worked across supply chain, in category management, sourcing, in inventory management, and logistics and distribution. So to answer your question, it wasn't really a conscious move to supply chain. It was something that just came my way, and over the last decade, I've just fallen in love with it. Yeah.
Right. And I think if I ask this question to you, Abhi, and to Srini, right? Like if you had a choice now to change your career, for that matter, even to me also, I think our answer will be a definite no, right? I don't think any other
Oh,
industry is going to give us the growth and experience that this particular industry sector is given.
absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
Mohan. I don't remember having a similar work week in the last 5 years.
Right.
So every week is a new challenge, especially in the geopolitical world that we are in
Right.
today. every day you wake up. So there's a ship stuck in the Suez Canal. You got to reroute all your shipments
Right.
that go through that main route. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time. So yeah, definitely a very interesting space to be
Absolutely.
working in.
Absolutely. So, guys, I think we have a lot more to cover in the next one. So, quickly, what I will do, guys. So, see, as I said at the start, right? TCS iON has always strived to um, provide students and the industry with some very cutting edge and relevant courses so that, they can partner each one of you in your journey towards a successful career. Um, and supply chain, we were discussing with IM Vizag, and we thought that, there were a lot of supply chain courses available in the market, but the prices were so exorbitant. They were mostly, most of the courses that you find currently delivered by any IIM, it is meant for working executives, right? So, which meant that it was out of reach for most of the students. So, we had a very focused discussion with IIM Vizag, and we have come up with a course. And this was kind of reciprocated by Srini and Abhi also, right? Learning is the key to unlock a successful career, guys, right? I mean, when you go to an interview, I mean, I have interviewed, right? Like post-COVID, when there was a huge attrition, we used to, my managers used to interview, and we used to interview hundreds and hundreds of people. So the one thing that we always look for in a resume is there something extra that a person has, so that, that is all we look for, right? And that is where extra certifications, extra learnings come handy. So I just wanted to let you all know that, for those who are very serious in making a career out of supply chain, we do have something, that you should look at, because I don't think there's any other comparable product in the market, right? An IAM um, developed course that is available at such a with attractive proposition. So um, the course is called Rahul, can you just go to the first slide? Yeah. Integrated operations and supply chain management in the digital era. Yeah, you can now go to the features. So this is a course where we have actually spent considerable amount of time with IM Vizag. And we wanted to come out with a curriculum that is going to address the needs of the industry, and that is going to position students for a career in supply chain, right? So we were very, very clear, and we wanted to make sure that this is relevant to the industry needs. And that is why you see this course covers the basics and intermediate level, all the topics in supply chain, statistics. Statistics is a pretty critical component of any supply chain course, And then there is also a very significant technology overlay, right? Because technology is um, disrupting, it is changing anything and everything that we do. So we understood that, right? So technology plays a very key role, and this course has incorporated all the latest technologies that are driving supply chain, right? And this course has some key features, right? So a course from IIM, you would expect these things, just that the other courses are pretty out of league, but we have made sure that this is affordable for even a student. So this course will have Harvard Business Review, HBR case studies, then you have simulations. So you will have a separate simulation platform where you will actually play the roles, right? You could be playing the role of a warehouse manager, you could be playing the role of some strategic sourcer, you could be playing the role of a distribution professional, and you will see, right, how a supply chain actually operates. It is a gamified way of learning, which is probably the most effective way that you can actually incorporate the learning. It will have a recorded lectures by IM Vizag professors, 90 hours of experiential learning, and as I said, Harvard Business Case Review. It will have a lot of group projects. So this is what it is. Rahul, if you can quickly go to the topics, right? The last 4 5 slides where we have the yeah, yeah. So if you can see, we have tried to cover all the critical facets of supply chain, right? A primer statistics. So we thought that this course it is not necessary that you have to be from a science or an engineering background to attend. So we made sure that we cover all the basic concepts of statistics right up front, right? So if somebody is not from a science or a engineering background, no worries at all. Statistics, the required statistical theories will be taught at a basic level so that you come up to speed. Then you have basics of operations management. Go to the next slide, Rahul. Information-based view of organization, strategic considerations in operation. So see the way this is built, we teach about the basics operations, and then the IMB is bringing a view of the organizational view, right? What is an organizational view? Where you look at it from an organizational view, right? The profitability, because a good supply chain actually gives a firm a big competitive advantage in the market, right? Because this is where a lot of efficiencies step in, right? So that's the organizational view. Then you have a strategic consideration. So any IIM course, right, it will have a lot of stress on strategy. That is where we want all of you to not only know the basics, but we are trying to give you all a strategic viewpoint, how to look at things from a strategic viewpoint, right? That is what a managerial ability is all about. So that we will cover. Then you have basics of supply chain after operations, and then the technology use cases, right? So again, as I said, this course is open. It is background agnostic, right? Somebody who has done a BCom, somebody who has done a BBA, somebody who has done a BA, somebody who has done a BCA, BE, MBA, all of them will be able to appreciate and do the course without any prejudice to anybody, right? So the technology will be use cases, right? How are, let's say, how is Internet of Things affecting supply chain, right? How does blockchain, how it is used in a day-to-day supply chain operations, applications of AI, right? The stress will be on the practical applications and not on the technical part, right? That definitely is not the focus. And then finally, after doing all of that, you will be able to actually design a supply chain for yourself, right? That is the icing on the cake. I think the details of this course is put in the chat box. Please go through it. Log into the website. There is a detailed brochure given, so please do download the brochure, guys. That will give you a lot of information about what this course is all about. Because finally, the job market is becoming very competitive. There are, there is competition everywhere, and somehow you will have to stand out in a crowd, and having an additional certification or an additional qualification is one way to do it. Okay, so
Mohan, before you move to the next questions to the speakers, there are a few important questions that the audience have. And let's see if we can answer them.
Sure.
So one question is, this certification course is from TCS or IIM Vizag?
No, this is out and out from IIM Vizag, Mirudha, because this is from IIM
So it will
Vizag.
be a joint certification from TCS iON and IIMB. Right?
IIMB, it's a joint certification. TCS is providing the platform. TCS will also bring a lot of industry knowledge. It is a co-branded certificate. It is a co-branded certificate, but more the main functional knowledge will come from IIMB. TCS will bring in the industry flavor.
Okay. Then another question: what is the fee structure, and is there a placement facility also?
Yeah. So okay, it's a good question. So the fees, as we said, Mudita and all the audience, is that we have tried to make it as affordable as possible, because we didn't want to compromise on the quality. We didn't want to compromise on the essential features, right? So this has simulation, this has HBR case studies, this has group activity, 90 hours of experiential learning, right? With 60 hours of lectures from two pretty well-known IIM professors, right? We didn't want to compromise on any of that. But still we have made the course nearly 1/10 of any other IIM course. So the course all inclusive will come somewhere around 29,500. That is what the course fee is all about. Placement, I can tell one thing, guys, right? Nobody, right? Even if you study in a full-time MBA, right? Be it the best of colleges, right? I mean, I have studied in IIM where I have seen some of my batchmates not getting placed, right? So But we are doing everything that will help you get a good job. I want to go back to what Srini said, right? And this is what I also do when I hire. The same Abhi would also have done, right? When we hire candidates, when we look at the resumes, first thing that we look at it is what is that a particular person has got different from others. So that is where this certificate we are very sure will help you stand out in a crowd, because the certificate will be very detailed. It will have a lot of credit details, how much you scored in the different topics, how much did you score in the simulation. So this certificate will give a very good feel to a potential recruiter. Okay.
Okay, so Urvashi has a question. How? Okay, just a second. Her question was, there were two questions she asked.
Mhm.
She says she's a BTech mechanical background.
Mhm.
Is she eligible for the course? And also, yeah, the other question is whether EMI is available or not, EMI option.
Right. So first answer is a big yes, because mechanical engineers, production, they are dealing with operations, shop floor, day in and day out. It's a big yes for the first. The second question, the EMI option. See, mostly all the credit cards come with an EMI option, and we are also trying to come up with an EMI option. As of now, in the website, it is not available. But please do check with your credit card. Most of the credit cards now have a automatic EMI option. We are also kind of trying to enable it. As of now, it is not available, but we are hoping that it will be made available sooner. But yeah.
Okay. So there are few more questions, like Pratham Nayak, Roshni, Vedant, Dhanapriya,
Mhm.
Anthony Johanan. Most of them have asked, as a fresher or as a person who is doing a bit advanced, who wants to do a bit advanced certification, which is a PGDM, what is the course that they should pick? And and also there is a comment from Anthony Johanan that since MBAs are getting very costly these days,
Right.
so what are the certificate courses that we should pick?
Yeah, and exact. So, and that is where I can very specifically point out to the certification that we are rolling out, Mudita, and to the audiences, right? These kind of short-term certifications will really help you realize your career dreams, because this will give you very, very pertinent knowledge, right? Over the 4 months, the moment you have chosen an industry, and once you have finalized on SCM as an industry, um, even in an MBA, right? Maybe the first year is a common. You will have whatever it is covered there, it is covered in this topic also. Overall, if you see, even somebody who's specializing in operations at the most would be having around, you know, more or less the same topic. Maybe some topics they'll go deep. So these kind of short-term certifications do help. And I will again go back to my IIM days, guys, because I know that's probably a very competitive. So even in IIM, after having gone to IIM, after having studied there, even during the final placements, all of us would do these short-term certifications from NSE. People who want to go into the finance and all, they will do this 1 month, 2 month. There are a lot of there is an NSE course on commodities. There is an NSE course on derivatives. So these certifications act as a very, very powerful catalyst to get you into a job, right? So yeah, I think you should look more
I'll
for that.
pick one more question before you go ahead,
Sure.
Mohan. Again, it is about the placements
Mhm.
and jobs.
Mhm.
And I think we must mention that those who complete this course and also do the NPT certificate at the end of the course,
Right,
National Proficiency Test Certificate,
right.
TCS iON is providing them 3 job interview opportunities with various corporates.
Yes,
Right?
yes, Vedit.
That is a
Yes,
must mention.
absolutely.
So I'm sure you will be able to crack one out of the 3 opportunities that you get.
Right,
That is what my say would be.
right. And
Okay,
that comes with
let's
a
go on.
minimum percentage. And I can tell, Mudita, the same Srini can also vouch. I mean, I have personally hired a lot of people who have cleared NPT in my previous role. I mean, we have hired in hundreds of
Yeah,
folks
yeah.
who have created NPT. So,
Okay, we are almost ending, 6 p.m. it is almost,
Right.
but we have certain important parts to cover. And
Right.
another important question from Srishti Kumari is the time period of the course. If you could just clarify
Yeah,
that.
it is spread over 4 months. It will start late August and it will end by late November. It is spread over 4 months. Okay, so I this is something very critical. I will ask Rishikesh to very quickly, Rishikesh, maybe take 2-3 minutes and walk the audience through how to register.
Let me take this up,
Sure,
Mohan.
sure.
So, students, this is the purchase flow that we are showing here. The link that you can see here is also pasted in the chat multiple times by now, and we can do that again. So, once you click on this link, you will see a buy now option, and that is where you need to go and register yourself. Okay, just go to the next slide, please, Swapnil.
Hello, can you hear
Okay,
me?
so this is the e-form. This is the e-form that you have to fill. And these are basic details like your name, your phone number, email, your current education details, whatever you are doing or you have recently done, the current, job that you may be working in. All those details need to be filled and submitted here. Let's go ahead. And then you will be taken to the proceed to pay button. Just mentioning again, 18th August is the start date and 8th August is the last registration date, and 10th August we will be having an orientation session. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So we are nearly at the top of the hour. So I have one question to ask to Srini. Srini, we want to make use of your experience and expertise. So can you, as we saw, right, there are around 50% folks who are from non-engineering background here. Can you very specifically tell us some roles, right, that a non-engineering person can expect to get into an SCM industry, Srini, very specifically
Sure,
some roles.
sure. So again, for non-engineering graduates, right? If you come to outsourcing industry, you can pick up any roles that includes your category management support role, right? First, I'll talk about this outsourcing industry, right? The benefit of joining this DPR outsourcing industry once you get certified is that even if you're a non-engineering graduate, what happens is that you, for example, learned some sourcing area where you joined as an kind of buyer into an outsourcing industry, right? Now it is with outsourcing company to pull you up all the way up to the category manager role, wherein a client just outsource their business and you can still handle that category managerial role in outsourcing industry, right? Wherein if you go to manufacturing sector, what will happen is that you can handle every other role that has been shown up in the slide, right? Sometime a few minutes ago, except the category managerial role, wherein few manufacturing companies, they will mandate that a person with engineering background can join their company and then grow up till category manager, right? Because the category manager, they feel that their whatever they have studied during their engineering phase will come handy when they start discussing with the suppliers, right? So in nutshell, for non-engineering candidates, there is no limit to grow any level, both in individual side and then people manager side in the outsourcing industry. In manufacturing sector, so there would be little limitation in terms of only category manager role, but you can grow until one level below to the category manager role if you go to the manufacturing sector, if you choose that manufacturing as your career choice.
Appreciate, Srini. Thank you so much. Guys, we are at the top of the hour. Now that we have Abhi here, I don't want to miss this opportunity. So, guys, as I said, Abhi actually works with the chief procurement officer of a multi-billion US dollar multi-billion US dollar company, right? It's a huge oil and gas giant. So a chief procurement officer is like, see, you have a COO, right, who handles the overall operations. You have a CFO who's the finance head of any company. Similarly, the chief procurement officer is the very critical role who handles the end-to-end procurement of a company, right? And as I said, procurement is a very, very strategic unit which gives company a competitive advantage. And Abhi directly works with the chief procurement officer, right? Day in and day out, he works with him, he sits with him, and he discusses the transformational ideas. So Abhi, I wanted to understand, right? How 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 did you? I mean, is there any specific talent that somebody should have to get into roles like this, or is it's a journey that you learn a lot of stuff and you have to be just open? I want you to just share your experience, right? How you got there and the experience of working with a CPO. I mean, not many get to do that.
Um, so I wouldn't say that there's this one cheat code that would kind of allow you to go about having this journey. But what helped me in my journey would be just having that detail, eye for detail, because there is no rocket science in supply chain. Everything is a logical step. There is a reason for the madness that is going on. So if you put your mind to it, actually follow the process flow that is going on, what stakeholders, how are they making use of that particular data, information, what enrichment do they provide and pass it on to the next stage. If you look at it from that detail lenses, the answers are going to be in front of us. And then it becomes an exercise of, qualitatively and quantitatively analyzing which out of the 20 solutions that you see is something that would give you the quick buck for your money. So you go after those problems. So in my view, it's just having an eye for detail and not shying away from getting your hands dirty. There is no reward you're going to get without putting in that hard work, putting in those additional hours to understand and actually understand it like it's your problem, right, rather than it's somebody else's problem. So my suggestion to everybody who's listening in would be to have that knack for problem solving, have that knack for detail orientation. Those are the things that will take you a long way.
Appreciate Abhi, and amazing. So guys, I think we're at the top of the hour. In fact, we have already exceeded by 4. I think I don't have any more questions, and
I have a few questions from the audience. Niveta is asking if we can talk about how the sessions will be conducted of the IM Vizag course.
yeah, all the sessions will be conducted on a Saturday through virtual medium only, Amidita. Everything will happen through a WebEx or a Zoom, and it will happen on Saturdays. All the sessions.
Okay, so basically they'll be about 4 hours, right?
4 hours, yes.
4 hours every Saturday.
Right.
And there'll be a break in between.
There will be
Okay.
break in between, and Myuta, I just forgot to add, there will be 3 ebooks that all the students will have access to. These are ebooks from Tata McGraw-Hill, and these books cost anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 if you want to buy them, right? So they also come, and apart from the lectures, there will be a lot of team activities also, right? Project-based activities, which will help the participants network and get to know each other and expand their network. So all those are parceled into the program.
Okay. Uh, Another interesting question that Srinivas Senapati has. Why is the registration price so high? What is the reason?
Yeah, so I would like to tell you that it is actually not high, right? Like I mentioned at the start, if you actually, yeah, and I will leave it to the participants to see, if any supply chain course from IIM comes around 1.5 lakh, right? Nothing below that. Okay, so this is actually probably the cheapest course because we wanted a pedigreed institution like IIM, and we also wanted to make it affordable. So this is actually nearly 1/5 of the cost that any other course that from IIM that is available in the market, right? So um, we made sure that we only have all the critical elements, and this is not costly. You guys can do your check. It is not costly. It is just that um, because if we are talking about this certification leading to a great career, we need to make sure that we have all the ingredients which cost, right? There are ebooks, there are simulation, there are HBR case studies, and the time and effort of the IIM Vizag professors, the group activities, the TCS brand, the NPT, all of this come free of cost, right? So if you add all of them, this is probably actually the actual cost of the course could be zero. So yeah.
Okay. And we can end with this last question from Urvashi Saxena. What are the requirements to qualify NPT?
No request. So you will have to successfully clear this certification course. You get the minimum score. I think then the NPT will be rolled out to you. It will be a
So
subject-based
basically,
NPT.
the NPT course, the NPT syllabus will be in line with the course that you will be
Exactly.
doing.
It will be a subject-based NPT. Yes. Yes. Uh, that's all from all of us. So I want to um, take some time out and thank all the participants for spending their valuable time, and no words to thank Srini and Abhi for taking time out from their busy schedules. And appreciate Mudita, all of us. So, guys, our LinkedIn profiles are there. If you need any further info, please feel free to reach us on in LinkedIn. You can send a direct message to me. If you need any details around the program, I'll be more than happy to answer. And I wish each one of you great success in your career. So, with that, we conclude today's